Hey there, rockers and rollers. Thank you for stopping by. Today, we find a perfect example of what happens when an amazing supergroup band decides to sign with the wrong label, or basically no label at all. And we'll talk about this killer album that has got to be heard at least once in your life from front to back. Stick around to find out what famous musicians decided to get together when their respective bands were on hiatus on this episode of Don't Miss Albums. After the departure of bandmate Ed Kowalczyk in 2009 to record his solo project Alive, the remaining members of Live, lead guitarist Chad Taylor, drummer Chad Gracie, and bassist Patrick Dahlheimer, reached out to longtime friend Kevin Martin, singer for band Candlebox.
Well, I woke up one morning, seen my baby fly away. Shook up, don't go.
The guys had a handful of songs already written and knew that Kevin would make the most of them. Of this, Martin is quoted as saying, "He called me and said, 'Pat, Chad, and I have been writing, and we think you are the perfect singer for this project.'" With Chad Taylor asserting that he no longer wanted to play guitar solos, Martin suggested that his Candlebox bandmate, guitarist Sean Hennessy, could do the job. Hennessy explained, "Tonally, Chad's got a big, fat, manly beast sound. I have more of a high-cut karate sound that cuts through, so our tones complement each other very well." Once Hennessy was recruited, the Gracious Few's lineup was established. On November 30th, 2009, Taylor, Dahlheimer, and Gracie issued a statement announcing that Live had disbanded following the departure of lead singer Ed Kowalczyk, and that the Gracious Few was now their main focus. Their statement alleged that Kowalczyk had demanded a $100,000 lead singer bonus to appear with the band at the 2009 Pink Pop Festival, and that he had obtained sole publishing rights to the band's songs without the knowledge of the other three band members. The Gracious Few began rehearsing in California in September 2009, and subsequently recorded their self-titled debut album. It was produced by Jerry Harrison of Talking Heads and mixed by Tom Lord Alge. The first single from the album is Honest Man. Singer Kevin Martin said of the song, quote, "It reminds me of my father. He was a World War II veteran. He believed in the American dream with all his heart. He was the honest man of his generation. Now I turn on the television and see Americans without jobs, without food, and without a chance to help themselves. This song is a wake-up call to the forces of the world who would dare to stand in the way of our ability to provide for ourselves." End quote. The second single, Appetite, would be released shortly thereafter. In September 2010, Martin explained that it had been difficult to schedule the recording of the album because Gracie's wife was about to give birth. Martin and Hennessy were working with Candlebox, and Taylor and Dahlheimer were involved in the film project Zach and Miri Make a Porno.
Get up, Zach! What the? Zach!
You want me to come in?
What happened to the water?
They shut it off.
Help me get this out of my hair. Just use the water out of the toilet.
There's poo in there.
Also, the band members lived far apart. Taylor and Dahlheimer in Pennsylvania, Gracie in Orange County, and Hennessy and Martin in Los Angeles. Eventually, 20 songs were written in 2 sessions, totaling only 22 days. Drummer Chad Gracie explained the album's sound. Quote, "We knew we wanted to be a little harder than what Live had been doing, and even what Candlebox had been doing. Chad Taylor comes up with a lot of the riffs that we start the songs from, and he was just playing this real sort of heavy bluesy stuff. Once we heard that, we were like, wow, this is kind of a Led Zeppelin throwback feel, and it just sort of happened. We didn't consciously decide. Those were just the songs that started flowing." The Gracious Few played their first concert date at Fat Daddy's in York, Pennsylvania on May 27, 2010. This was followed by shows at Summerfest in Milwaukee on June 25, 2010, and the Troubadour in Los Angeles on June 29th with band Royal Bliss.
You don't know who we are. We are the Gracious Few. We are members of the band Live at Candlebox, having a good time here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
The inception of the band was no pretense, just get together, get in a room, and make some noise. I think that since Kevin and Sean have joined the fold, that we've all become much more serious about it, and this is definitely, this is it. This is the full-time gig. We'd like to make, a dozen records together, which is a very interesting feeling, having had all the members been in various bands for over 20 years, to go, hey, let's start again, and this is what we really want to do, and this is our focus.
Yeah, it's a big challenge, You're like restarting your career, after selling 25, 30 million records as 2 bands together. It's just kind of like, this is kind of crazy, but it's really enjoyable, and hey, when can we start the next record?
We recorded a record that's coming out in September, and so we realized we're a little premature. And thanks y'all for letting us play for you. Hope you like what you hear this evening.
Come out and make a real big debut here in Summerfest, and get ready for touring in September when the record comes out. And the excitement level is, like I said, can we get it out tomorrow? But we need to be patient, and make sure that we build this the right way.
Now maybe I didn't mean to treat you bad, but I did it anyway.
Obviously, Candlebox and Live both sort of came up at the same time. It's very interesting, though, because I think that as similar of an era that we might have come up together, it seemed like we had a very sort of diverse influence in music, and those that influenced us. And I would have assumed that. And then as we progressed and began writing songs, we realized that we had so many shared influences, blues influences, Delta blues, Led Zeppelin, sort of a lot of classic rock bands. We all loved Guns N' Roses. And so those bands started to take over the sound. And so when you hear the Gracious Few, you don't hear Live and you don't hear Candlebox. It's its own unique footprint. With the Gracious Few's material, we've been finding that it holds up and is just as exciting for us to play acoustically as it is electrically. Obviously, it's a little bit of a different dimension, different energy. I mean, there's certainly much more, physical movement and sweating, etc., when you capture the live show. And of course, for us, we love big rock shows. So the Gracious Few are all about, creating that electric energy on stage, fan interaction, and really just sort of exploding.
The band undertook an extensive American tour in the latter part of 2010 in support of the album, beginning in St. Louis, Missouri on September 18th and concluding in Sacramento, California on December 6th, with band American Bang in support. In February 2011, the band undertook a short European tour, beginning in London on February 18th, with a concert at the Barfly in Camden. They also played at the Rocklahoma Festival on May 28, 2011. For chart performances, the album reached number 168 in the US and peaked at number 7 on the US Heatseekers chart. It hit number 15 on the US Hard Rock chart. The single Honest Man reached number 39, and Appetite peaked at number 29, spending 7 weeks on the charts. AllMusic gave the album 3.5 stars out of 5, in a generally positive review. They hinted at the difficulty in creating a classic rock album without sounding dated, by saying that the band, quote, have crafted a note of fondness, not quite a love letter, to 70s hard rock that has enough post-grunge radio polish on it to keep things in perspective, end quote. A glowing review from Type 3 Media said the album contained, quote, an impressive collection of heavy, brooding, groove-laden tunes, end quote, and praised the band for, quote, exploring sounds and styles they may not have been able to lay down in a studio previously, end quote. Alternative Addiction said that, quote, when you throw in live, Candlebox, classic rock, and Jerry Harrison doing some decent production, you get a great album by the gracious few, end quote. In a generally favorable review, they expressed a preference for the album's heavier songs, claiming that, quote, the band is at its best on the edgier songs where Martin is belting out vocals. When they're not taking advantage of that, some boredom can set in, end quote. I can somewhat agree with what they're saying, but if you listen to the album with greater intent, the album hits differently. Jerry Harrison gets the producer, music by, and lyrics by credits. Jerry is best known as a former member of Modern Lovers from 1971 to 1974.
When you get out of the hospital, let me back into your life. I can't stand what you do. I'm in love with your eyes. And when you get out of the dating bar, I'll be here to get back into your life.
And Talking Heads, where he played keyboard and guitar from 1976 until 1991 when the band split up.
You may find yourself living in a shotgun shack. You may find yourself in another part of the world.
Between 1981 and 1990, he also recorded 3 solo albums, 2 under the name Casual God. He now owns a recording studio called Sausalito Sound.
Got the heat turned on and the windows down. She's hell on wheels, telling everyone how good it feels. Might be the she-wolf knocking on my door. She wants to roll the rug up and get down on the floor. She said, ride, rev it up, little boy, and ride.
Executive producer credits go to Lawrence Goldfarb and Chad Taylor. This was Lawrence's first go at producing anything, and Chad has dabbled a bit with bands Solution AD and Arms Bend Back. Veteran hedge fund manager Goldfarb, multi-platinum musician Taylor, award-winning songwriter and co-producer Patrick Dahlheimer, Grammy-nominated Jason Pittman, and music producer Daniel Pollard have all collaborated to create SoundBridge Investment Fund. SoundBridge is focused on connecting founders and investors to bring together the music and other varieties of art forms we love. Engineered by Carl Dörfler, known for his work with Smash Mouth, Tom Waits, and the Mother Hips. He was assisted by Matt Willenchick and Matt Cohen. Matt Willenchick has done work for Ray Manzarek and Kenny Wayne Shepherd, while Matt Cohen has done a lot of work for the Talking Heads, Night Ranger, and Weird Al. Mixed by Tom Lord Alge with the aid of Femio Hernandez. Tom is well known in the business.
I'm Tom Wardalgi, and I'm a mixing engineer. I've been mixing records for 30 years. I mixed bands from Manson to Hanson and everything in between. Bands like the Rolling Stones, Stevie Winwood, who I won 2 Best Engineered Recording Grammys for, Blink-182, Sum 41, The Wallflowers, Live. I could go on and on. We're here.
Femio has also been around a bit. He has worked with acts Live, U2, Hole, Bare Naked Ladies, and Santana, just to name a few. Ted Jensen takes the mastering credit. Ted has been mastering songs since 1976, and in his first year, mastered Eagles' Hotel California, then Billy Joel's The Stranger. Jensen has contributed to hundreds of Grammy-winning records in his 45-plus year career. He has been personally nominated for Evanescence's Fallen, Green Day's American Idiot, Alice in Chains' The Devil Put Dinosaurs Here, James Taylor's Before This World, and Norah Jones's Come Away With Me, for which he won his first Grammy. Bill Thompson and Matt Gracie get technician credit. Bill has also worked with Elvin Bishop and Autopsy, among others. Matt has been working in the live camp since Mental Jewelry, which will be another episode soon. Art direction and design credit goes to Carson Slovak. Carson is a vocalist, bassist, and guitarist that has done studio work, produced, and created artwork for countless hard rock, metalcore, and other harder-edged heavy metal bands. He was, or is, active in the bands Arms Bend Back, Galactic Empire, and Century. Jesse Brown gets credit for artwork, logo. Jesse has worked with The Gracious Few and Casa Overall. Brad Kenyon is credited as photographer. Brad also has photography credit with Amaran's Plight. Kevin Martin, vocals. Chad Taylor, guitar. Sean Hennessy, guitar. Patrick Dahlheimer, bass. Chad Gracie, drum. Here we go, rockers and rollers. An instant head shaker for sure. The Gracious Few. The album starts off with a moody synth-pop sounding vibe of their second single that, to be honest, scared me at first. I was afraid the whole album was going to sound like this, and, well, until it didn't. At all. I think I chipped a tooth the first time I heard Appetite come in with this heavy Zepp-infused entrance. I'm not kidding. Honest Man was the first single from the album, and as we heard Kevin state earlier, is meant as a wake-up call. Tell you what though, that killer chorus has me awake. Song 3 is Guilty Fever, a Soundgarden-esque gem of sludginess. Few comes in at number 4 with a blistering main riff. Kevin shines through real well with his vocals here. The Rest of You settles in at number 5, just begging for an emotional response from the listener. How are you going to respond? Track 6's Crying Time is another moody synth-pop laden tearjerker, if you let it be.
Did you ever want out of this life? Did you ever think about it, love, from time to time? Did you believe in everything they said? They're saying things I don't know. How did you get so far, my friend, so far from home? Did you ever draw outside the lines? Did you mean to make others hurt from time to time? Did I tell you everything's been said? What they're saying, it's so untrue. How could you ever let this life get the best of you? And all these memories, but you're still alone. Oh, and it's crying time, but there's still love. Oh, and I tried so hard to get to you. I know you never meant those things you've done. I never meant to leave you, but it's crying time, and there's still love.
Silly Thing is a straight-ahead rock and roll tune at number 7. Nothing promised, yet everything fulfilled.
I could be set aside, forgotten, drained in. Oh, I could be buried beneath your
Coming in at number 8, Closer lives up to the concept of friends close, enemies closer, with an intensity which suggests the dark certainty of retribution by the wrong.
Someday you'll see what has been done brings you closer to me. Did you say you never meant it? Did you scream it out loud? Someday you'll be a ship afloat, an endless road, an empty soul, and nothing to
What's Wrong calms you down with track 9. Kevin goes off and makes this track, man.
never thought about all the ins and outs. We said forever vows. Baby, can you do without? Can you do without me? I know we've had our doubts. The sun is setting now. You said it's over, 'cause baby, I can't live without you. Can you live without? Can you live without you and me and down to read everything? Made it seem that I have you and me supposed to be every and most everything. So what's wrong?
Tredicum at number 10 is another Soundgarden-esque track that does its job to carry the album forward like a socket wrench threads a bolt.
I am the harvest moon, my autumn spry, as summer's rapture comes to close, a glow of orange at night. These leaves, they lay upon me still, a season's resting place, careless and free. I am the winter's shade.
Track 11's Nothing But Love seems to channel a bit of early collective soul, maybe? is song number 12. Does it make you? Maybe not at first, but what about towards the end?
I've worn through the soles of my boots take a beating I've known days into weeks into years I've run Seattle to Austin, the Apple and on. So on with the blues and on with the soul and on with the people and on with the show. I wanna sing my song. I wanna sing my song.
All I Hear comes in at number 13, but as a bonus track. And it's melodic, heavy, and a fantastic way to end an album.
You got the gun, made me realize I hold the trigger. And both of us knowing we're both alive, we're both digging deeper. I could hold you for ransom or free you, yes, free you from my love. And everyone's singing like everything's fine. I don't wanna change for sake of change. I don't wanna bring back yesterdays. I don't wanna know who's who, what's what. Just give me that goddamn truth today.
In June 2011, Chad Taylor announced that new Gracious Few material would be forthcoming. The band released the brand new single Great Houses for free download via the website that same year. As of this video, there has been no news about the Gracious Few. With that, I'll leave you all with the free and latest single from the Gracious Few, but remember, crank it up so the neighbors can enjoy it too. Until next time, here's Great Houses. Take care.
If you ain't careful, son, this glass, it's gonna bleed you. It cuts you deep, the bits and pieces leave you dreaming. Put up a fuss, they lock you out. Must be mistaken. You'd sell your soul to call it home. They ain't buying no. Great houses do fall. About the time they saw you coming was way too late, huh? Your little whistle chased them out, but you ain't safe, no. Your snoring sleep ain't resting deep. It's the wicked's way in. You sold your soul a rolling stone. It's all you're dealing, yeah. Great houses do fall, yeah. Don't slumber long. Great houses do fall, yeah. Great houses do fall. wash them up, but they still speaking. Another cut's too close, your tongue, your throat is sinning.